Nuance with Nikki, the nitty gritty, even if it's shitty. Over here, we have adult conversations. Over here, I'm not comfortable with kids listening to my content. Please, I get a little bit disrespectful. The topics I talk about are not things that make me comfortable. So what I do is, I smoke, I swear, I'm just very human about it, okay? But oh no, they didn't. Oh no, they didn't. Okay. Hold me back. Hold my terug. They are scratching me where I don't itch right now. I want you to see what happened to Uncle P. I want you to see, and then I want to give you context. Okay, if you're new at my channel, I want to give you context.
Guys, my ass went to the comments and the DMs. Guys, you're a bastard. You know what's so painful about this?
They called him a bastard. That hits me in my soul. I'll tell you why. Now, if you're new to this conversation, for the last few months, there has been this barrage of disrespect towards black South Africans. Unfair disrespect because they are standing up against identity theft in our country. You see, guys, in the beautiful country of sunny South Africa, you do not have a life without an ID. There are people that are literally living dead.
This is Nuance with Nikki, the nitty gritty, even if it's shitty. Do watch out for the couple that actually suspected each other of cheating because they didn't know where all this extra money was going to. Meanwhile, it was a third party that had essentially stripped them of their identity. Nuance with Nikki, let's get into it.
It's estimated that every 2 seconds, someone's identity is stolen, and many
and
have
I made this long video. If you are open-minded and you don't just want to see South Africa as some kind of racist xenophobes, please go and watch this video. I've put up this footage multiple times, okay? We've got this man living dead. He was registered as dead, and his life is basically over because of that. We've got this woman married to a man that she didn't know. And being unemployed now, she can't get her unemployment insurance. Let me see who else we have. We've got this child over here who cannot go to university and cannot finish her high school because someone stole her identity. We've got this guy in loads of debt. Okay? We've got these students over here. Something like 74,000 false applications for a grant they're supposed to get. This couple's marriage completely torn apart. Okay, by identity theft. And we've got someone like Uncle P who does the best that he can to stand up for South Africans. Okay? He is a South African citizen, not born and bred, born but not bred. We have so much that we have a TV show. We have a flippin' TV show about identity theft in this country.
It makes a lot of things a lot more difficult than you know.
So she says you met in 2012. She didn't know you. This was just a deal marriage. She was supposed to help you.
We have a TV show about illegal marriages and the problems that they cause. But essentially, the fact is that we have people who are living dead.
So do stuff. When I'm going there, every time they tell me that I'm diseased, they can't help me.
A double blow for the father of two. There are few, if any, jobs, and his status a further hurdle.
They can't survive.
But for being enraged about 3 decades of this, black South Africans are called xenophobic, this, that, and the other thing. This woman is afraid to show her face.
Employed mother of one was arrested for crimes ranging from fraud to common assault.
And so one person rose up as a symbol of that, and people weren't listening to South Africa's side. They only wanted the easy way out. Let's just slap the victim label, the victim label on her. Let's slap the villain label on black South Africans. Let's not listen to their humanity. Guys, it has gotten so bad that I'm going to play you a bit of footage now about someone I called Patronizing Patrick and the Pick Me Wife. I am not going to listen to this video because it was painful editing it. Okay, I have not even put it up or done anything with it yet. I'm still deciding what to do. I would like to ask South Africans who are more informed than me, what can we do, okay, with that footage, because I think it's bordering on a human rights violation. I will play it for you in a second. Just allow me to get my headphones in. I cannot sit through this twice. This is my family, okay? And now people like Uncle P, people like Lillian Chacha, who is from Kenya, standing up for South Africans. People like Just Chizzy, who I think is from West Africa. I'm not actually clear in which country she's from, but these people do an amazing job of finding footage of what's really happening in South Africa that you won't find on the news. And you can go and watch it yourself and check the veracity of it yourself. We're not hiding it, okay? But they didn't just go for a witch hunt. They did what was right rather than what was easy. And they looked below the surface. But I'm going to show you a video now of someone who's dedicated his flippin' page to hating on black South Africans. Okay? So let me just play it. He and his pick-me wife, who claims that she's colored, I don't believe a word. You're going to hear music in my earphones for my own sanity. Okay? And you guys can sit through this.
But this is a message again to black South Africa who does not know shit about what black South Africa I'm talking about. Those ones are the ones that are actually most crazy. Yes, that's the only freaking hope that there is if black South Africa educates itself. Freaking black South Africa is out here sleeping.
Yeah, that's also true.
That's why I come out and I tell them, South Africa, please, black South Africa, stop being proud.
Relax.
Yes, that was apartheid government who built all that. Did you say thank you? Black South Africa needs to come out here and relax.
It's crazy.
Me, I just keep giving it to them. South African boys, they'll see you like this. They're so freaking experienced in their crimes doing that. The Gen Zs of Kenya follow politics. They're not like the Gen Zs of South Africa. But this is a message again to black South Africa.
And here's what gets to me. Guys, is when you go to a black content creator, the amount of disrespect they will get in their comments. Like someone like this guy. Sbu Mak. Right? Disrespectful to the core. Some of the comments. Who else do we have? That's me. Mzansi Versity. This actually prompted me to make a whole hour's video. A comment that I found on one of his pages. It just doesn't stop. But you come to Nikki's channel and it's 102 lines. It's 102 lines of disrespect. I've been called what? A moo-moo. I'm your favorite moo-moo girl. Moo-moo, motherfucker. Okay? I do not care. That's my family you are talking about. Call me what you want. I've addressed this topic already. I am going to speak on it. You're not going to treat my family like they're filth. You're not going to do it comfortably. You're not. I didn't comment on patronizing Patrick and the Pick Me Wife because you can tell I just couldn't handle listening to that video again. I really couldn't. Okay, I had to listen to it over and over to edit. But now they called him a bastard. Now that hits me here because my entire race was once called bastards. Why? Because they would say the children weren't from Christian marriages 400 years ago. Then we called them the Grikwanas, right?
You know what's so painful about this? This was on my birthday. That is my mom, my firstborn daughter, and my sister, who were singing happy birthday to me in Portuguese. And I posted it on TikTok. This guy came and commented and said, "You bastard."
How small does a person's spirit have to be? How small does your spirit have to be to go and comment on someone's birthday picture to say he's a bastard when all he's doing is telling the truth? Guys, people like Uncle P are a mirror. If you don't like what you see, that is your problem. Okay? People are exposing your country. The whole world feels this way. People in your country aren't able to tell the truth. But that doesn't fly outside of Nigeria. The rest of Africa, people like Lillian Chacha, people told her to shut up when she responded to my video. Okay, it was one person, but I lost it because she responded to my video that I asked her to do. Okay? And Lillian Chacha is so fair. She showed bad images of South Africans too. South Africans behaving badly. Because she's a fair, objective person. And she gave her own opinion. She didn't suck up to me just because I asked her. You know? She showed the whole spectrum. That is her vibe. That is how she does it. Okay? And the thing is, people like Just Cheesy, I haven't really seen hatred on her page. But you guys are making it hard for Nigerians like this.
To forgive us in whichever way we have wronged you people.
Guys, kindly watch this video to the end, and while watching this video, if you find it interesting, kindly give this video a thumbs up and do not hesitate to subscribe if you haven't done, and don't forget to share your
Somebody, especially ungrateful person and ignorant. I know how burden it is. I'm a man. I know how burden it is to accommodate people, even though most of them may not appreciate it.
So he's a Nigerian man speaking about the kind of Nigerian that we get here. Many that will go overseas, respect Europe, respect this, that, and the other thing. You know, so when I made a video comparing the two ways in which the UK is treated versus South Africa, someone's like, what's so special about South Africa? You know? You guys don't think it's worth anything. Then why are you here? What are you going to say? Oh, because you're light-skinned. What, how dare you tell me? This is how I dare. First and foremost, my ancestors, these people, the Griqua, okay, who have an ancient tie to this land so old, it's since before anybody left South Africa. What do you mean anybody left South Africa, Nikki? What I mean is human beings have lived in South Africa for how long? How long is it, sir?
Johannesburg has the largest and oldest collection of hominid fossils found, dating as far back as 3.5 million years ago.
3.5 million.
Our species, Homo sapiens, has lived in this area for at least 170,000 years. Direct descendants of this first wave of human migration are still present in the area today in the form of Khoisan people, formerly referred to as Hottentots or Bushmen, notable for their superb hunting.
A slur for me is Hottentot and Bushman, and you're welcome to call me that as well. It won't hurt my feelings. So not only am I tied to this land, but technically every human being in the world is tied to South Africa. Now, it's impractical to assume that we can fit everybody in, but it's also impractical to assume that skin color is the basis of belonging to a nation, which has a constitution, which has laws at this point. And even if your only argument is you only black people should be there, well then you gotta respect what black South Africans want, what they want, which is the same respect that has been in Africa for how long? For how long? It says here on this comment, this I got from somebody on Mzansiversity's page. He says, even when it was still villages, there was order because villages were governed by chiefs and groups of villages would be under one kingdom, ruled by a king. And anyone who was not from that village would have to go to announce his arrival at that village, stating your reasons for being there, and a decision would be made whether you would come to stay or not. If, as a group, your route and your destination was through another nation's village, you had to send a few messengers first to the chief of that village, seeking permission to pass through that village to show respect to another man's territory and not be mistaken as enemies who are coming to attack. Our first novel by Sol Plaatjes has got these themes in them. Our first English novel. We've got these themes in them, you know? You go as far back as the Khoisan, when Bartholomew Diaz came here long before Jan van Riebeeck. And they just tried to take water. The Portuguese just tried to take water without asking the Khoisan, and they got into a heck of a lot of trouble. Okay? My ancestors, the Khoisan, embarrassed the shit out of them. Alright? Anyway, so now you guys are treating people like Uncle P like shit and speaking to him like he's less than human. I'm not having it.
Ask his neck. Africa. Manu Bagamizo Kondola. Izo Imitanda. Am I gone now? Software reset. South Africans have software resetted me. I don't know the Angolan national anthem. Do you know that I don't even know the current Angolan president's name? Unless I Google it. Oh, my mama.
Right? The point that he's making there is he's fully integrated into South African culture. He's so much of a South African. Like, people don't expect you to lose your culture. You can totally come and celebrate it here. South Africa is cool with that. Voted the friendliest country in the world, a country of diversity. The issue is respect. It's respect. And that's what Uncle P pays to South Africa in spades.
And then another one came again. This is on TikTok again. Please don't talk about Nigeria. Okay, what can I talk about then? That's what I'm meant to ask him. Nope, you are not up to that level to do so. I know a Nigerian must have fucked someone that you love. Yo!
Earning an own gold there, disrespecting your own women. Like, guys, I want to make it clear. Nigerians who are good and kind and valued and our friends, you are more than welcome in our country. We live with you. We're proud to live with you. You are welcome here. Okay? What I'm about to say is not about you, but that country has got to fix her integrity. South Africa is not the only one who sees it, but South Africa is a country that calls a spade a spade. All right? I gotta go for a second. You know what? I think I'm going to leave it here. I think that was a sign. What you are angry with people like Uncle P for is calling a spade a spade. It's calling a spade a spade. You have got to do what South Africans did, because all you are going to do is you're going to embolden us. I'm feeling emboldened. The more offended you get, what are you going to do? Comment on my page or go and share me on someone else's page? Go for it. You're just sending me publicity. I'm happy. I can only win there. Okay? But for those of you who say, for example, with the Chidima thing, when is it going to end? Let me explain something to you. Let me explain something to you very nicely. Do you see this woman over here? This is a South African woman. My country dragged her, and it was the black people in my country that dragged her for 5 years for disrespecting an American on the issue of race. If we can drag our own for 5 years until you guys encourage Chidima and her family to come back and have the hearing with Home Affairs instead of illegally jumping to Nigeria to get rewarded for crime, because that's what it is. All you supporters of Chidima weren't heroes supporting a victim. You were supporting a criminal. You were demonizing the true victims. Okay? But we dragged our own for 5 years. Our own. You're in this until 2035, or until you can encourage her to come back and face the trial. That's what's going to happen. You're not going to stop hearing her name. I know South Africans. We will be there in every comment section. I know them. Here are the names of the true victims. The first one, registered dead. His name is Sitembiso Ndlovu. Support Sitembiso Ndlovu, not Chidima Adjecina. Sitembiso Ndlovu. Okay? This mom who cannot say her name, I'm going to call her Tula because she has been silenced. So we're going to call her Tula. Okay? She is a true victim. Where is she? Did I get the timestamp wrong? Her. True victim.
6 months ago, the unemployed mother of one was arrested for crimes ranging from fraud to common assault.
Right. The next one. Raymond Diarcy, arrested for a crime he did not commit. He's the victim, not Chidima Adjecina. She's not. She was a symbol of the criminals who did this.
Where he was jailed for 2 nights.
I have a father who's very old, cannot deal with this issue, going to jails that are deathly, filthy, and being arrested with prisoners. Some of them are...
Halala Raymond Diarcy. Okay? Zamam Tetwa, she's a true victim.
Despite...
She's suicidal. She's so depressed that she cannot eat, and she's struggling at work because she can't do anything. Okay? Hamilton Siboza and his family.
To their credit, real people took immediate...
It's like mhlawumbe mina ngizibhayile lezi zinto for omunye umuntu esayidini or what into besinexabana nami engathembi.
He's the real victim, but you want to come and speak for famous people who got their fame through lying. And yes, she does know. She's a law student. She knows. She knows good and hell well. I've made a video in support of her, but she knows good and hell well. Can't finish high school. Nkosazana Dlamini. Right? It literally means our daughter. No? It means our princess. Yes. She represents all of these little kids who once had to face the Soweto uprisings. Okay? Now you're going to look at these images. You want victims. Okay? They had to fight for education. All right? That is the price that has been paid for the education that has been stolen by the Adjecina family. Okay? They are not the victims here. Right? Deliwe Nhlapo is a real victim.
The father was very old, cannot deal with this issue, you know.
Oh, there it is.
2019, mother of two Deliwe Nhlapo got the shock of her life when she visited a Home Affairs branch in Bronkhorstspruit, east of Pretoria.
Other victims include people who have registered themselves as doctors, fake doctors. Ishmael is a true victim.
It's estimated that every 2 seconds, someone's identity is stolen. Hands, crates, leaving. Last year, Ishmael Mpo Nelushi received a text message notifying him that he owed money on his Markham's account.
He is drowning in debt now.
I said, yeah, Gateway Mall or something like that. I said, no, I don't know where that is. They said, no, it's in Durban. I said, no, I'm in Johannesburg. They said, okay, fine, we'll get back to you. And then I tried to show you.
Worry.
This is the...
Students.
South Africa has a small grant for students.
These students over here represent 74,000 people. Their names are Joel Cedrus and Virgo Sai. Okay?
Asked about 60 people, and we managed to test their ID numbers, and what we found out was over 56 of them had active SASSA applications that they had no knowledge of.
Wait, so you spoke to 60 people at your campus, and 56 of them had applications on SASSA's portal that they knew nothing about. I mean, that's
Nigerian syndicates account for a third of these illegal things. And you keep funding our corrupt government. Keep funding that.
Particularly interesting about what you found about births in February 2005. Talk to me about that. Joel, you go.
Yes, so in February of 2005, people born in that month, we discovered that there were 74,000 active applications, okay? But
there is a docile way in which when people people from Nigeria go and do crime in other countries, there's a docile, respectful way they speak to those people. They say, I'm sorry.
I said I wanted to put the Nigerian thing to rest. Guys, if you just need some sanity, go and watch this Igbo guy on my channel, okay? But this is opening a whole new can of worms for me.
I'm sorry.
And you requested more pictures of the child? And you told the child that...
I'm sorry. But when it's South Africa, they absolutely go and break down. They break down infrastructure. They apologize profusely.
Never questioning the authorities. In terms of our police, how are they treated? You remember? Sorry, ne? How are our police treated?
The South African police have arrested 8 Nigerians for allegedly attacking officers during a drug raid. And a statement issued on Friday.
Oh, I feel your anger. Direct it to yourself for not speaking to your government. It is your reputation overseas. It is your responsibility to go and fix that. Go and fix that. Stop calling everybody else racist. That works in Europe. It works in America. It's not going to work on African soil. Go and fix your country. Go and fix your country. I feel your anger. Go and fix your country. Direct it to the right person. That finger you're pointing at me, 3 are pointing back at you. Go and fix your country. Your people stole my home of Hillbrow. I couldn't walk around safely. I can't return there. Go and fix your country. Stand up to them. Give them that energy. Why are you so afraid of them?
Fired rubber bullets to disperse the crowd. 1 suspect was arrested for illegal possession of drugs, and 3 suspects were arrested for public violence and detained at Kimberley Police
Grow
Station.
a pair and take responsibility for your nation's reputation. Beating up at a vulnerable man who did nothing to you but tell the truth does not make you look good.
And I know we are the USA of Africa, but don't talk about us. Talk about your country, Angola. Or are you ashamed of your country?
Go and fix it. You'll call me ignorant, you'll call me the R word, you'll call me whatever. But the footage speaks for itself.
Lagos, Nigeria, is one of the biggest cities in Africa. By 2015, its population will have reached 25 million. Poverty is rife, and for those looking for a way out, Britain is the gateway to a new life. The Home Office receives so many applications from Nigerians wanting to come to Britain that they have a team of officers in Lagos to police the process. Joe Doran is one of these officers. It's Wednesday morning and he's on his way to work.
We have an unusual route coming into work here. We have several routes to getting into work. I've decided to take the boat today, mainly because the traffic sometimes can take 10 minutes, sometimes it can take over an hour. This does beat the tube on the way to work in the morning. Hey, my role is an entry clearance officer here at the British Deputy High Commission in Lagos, and I consider visa applications for Nigerian citizens who wish to travel and visit the UK or settle in the UK.
Around 10,000 fraudulent documents are submitted with applications every year.
Around how much? My cook sister is so lekker, I couldn't even hear.
Around 10,000 fraudulent documents are submitted with applications every year.
10,000?
Forgeries are readily available on the streets of Lagos. Some are right on the doorstep of the High Commission. To get into the UK illegally. In Lagos, Nigeria, the black market in fake documents is booming.
That the facts are what they are, do not blame us. That the facts are what they are, do not blame South Africa.
Market in fake documents is booming.
That footage speaks for itself.
In Lagos, Nigeria, the black market in fake documents is booming.
That is your legacy. That is yours. Well known internationally, even at your own airport. So demonizing others only makes you look worse.
Officials became suspicious of the girls who were intercepted at the Murtala Muhammad International Airport in Lagos as they were about to board a Cairo-bound Egypt airline flight. Officials became suspicious of the girls when the Migration Information and Data Analysis System.
You are responsible for that as a country. South Africa is not hostile for Nigerians. No, it's not. It's not hostile to Nigerians. South Africa is not hostile to Nigerians.
You are valued in this country. Who value you in Nigeria? Who? I want to know who value you in Nigeria. If you don't have money, I mean, you're useless in Nigeria. You understand that in South Africa, no matter your level, no matter your status, you are valued in this country. Who value you in Nigeria? Who? I want to know who value you in Nigeria. If you don't have money, I mean, you're useless in Nigeria.
He's saying himself. He's saying it himself. If South Africa were this xenophobic country, why would you have to spread all these fake videos? I'll put a link in the description. But literally, all these videos that went viral are fake videos. Fake videos of so-called xenophobic attacks in South Africa that have been spread for years. And you know why it hasn't worked? Because you're not the first people to try and spread misinformation about us. We'll talk about you guys first. But, I mean, this one video over here, apparently xenophobic attacks, that's not even in South Africa. Look at it. It's like India or something. Where was it? Pakistan. Delhi in India. Look at the writing. It's not even South Africa. Why do you have to plump it up? Right? And you're so desperate to be victims of xenophobia that a lot of you gone and made the same video about 4 South African police. The same people who go, how can a South African be someone who's not black? Look at the thumbnail. Look at the thumbnail and you're out here spreading misinformation, but you don't want people spreading truth about your nation. We're here, baby. We're here. The more you attack the truth tellers, the more you're going to embolden us. I'm glad it's bothering you.
So these 4 South African police officers have been arrested for robbing a Nigerian rapper.
Now, I think that's wrong of the South African policemen. The point of showing that is you can suddenly, when it's time to throw South Africa under the bus, then there you are. Go and face your own country. You've just acknowledged in your videos, multiples of them, that you acknowledge a white person as South African when they do badly. Then they're South African. For that Julius guy, may he rest in peace, who was murdered in 4 ways. It was a normal murder. South Africa has 75 murders a day. But oh man, did you guys try and make a trend? Didn't though. And you're not the first people to spread misinformation about South Africa. Because while you are calling black South Africans anti-black, guess what else is happening? The first video where I actually stood up for black South Africans and my numbers shot up. They shot up. I realized that it was so refreshing to have someone say something like this. But here,
of a white genocide.
I have heard stories and rumors of something sinister happening in South Africa.
And they're bordering on genocide now.
You guys are no different from white supremacists. You're no different. You treat black people like they're nothing and they're not human, and you spread lies about them. You're no different. You're no different.
So please explain to me, you who don't live with black South Africans, how these two narratives are consistent.
She was contesting in Miss South Africa, where South Africans feel like she couldn't represent them because she's African and black, literally.
It's racist. I'm not a racist, but the blacks comes first, and then the whites. And even highly qualified whites.
Make it make sense. Make it make sense right now. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. How can one group of people be doing all of this?
These two narratives are consistent.
She was contesting in Miss South Africa, where South Africans feel like she couldn't represent them because she's African and black, literally.
It's racist. I'm not a racist, but the blacks comes first, and then the whites. And even highly qualified whites don't even get.
Where would black people find the time in this country to do all of that? Where? Explain to me. Explain it, because I'm not understanding.
Africa wakes up to the sound of the hardy-da. But before the hardy-da, parents wake up to wake up children. Before those parents wake up, the working class wakes up across the country. Before the working class wakes up, the taxi drivers wake up. But the first one to wake up here is the black South African woman who is making amagwenya, a fat cook, with one fat cook that she's going to sell at 3 o'clock in the morning to the taxi drivers, 4 o'clock in the morning to the commuters, 5 o'clock in the morning. She'll leave there 10 a.m. With one fat cook and a bar of Sunlight soap, she will raise lawyers, she will raise doctors, she will raise policemen and teachers. An entire country was built on black South African women.
And you know what? What actually gets to me about this is, like, what do you guys think? You guys think people are sitting in a taxi talking about, driver, askis, ngilate, after robot 2, master to jig, please, ngifunuk yenzi genocide, and then after 9 o'clock, I've got to yenza xenophobic. Call it change. Kibuka taxi, I'm busy. How? How would they have the time between saving for that and for Lobola? It's ridiculous. I'm sorry. And let me tell you something. Those people who allowed, those Nigerian syndicates who allow these illegal passports, this is the kind of thing you have created an environment for. This is your legacy. This is your legacy. And these are the South Africans that are being demonized as xenophobic.
The brutal gang rapes of 8 women in Krugersdorp on the West Strand has put illegal mining activity back in the spotlight.
We've been howling all the time about the deterioration of the rule of law in our country. We've also been putting it on notice that illegal immigration is a big issue that needs to be sorted out in our country, and they have not been taking us seriously. And it had to take this kind of crime to happen for us to be able to put the issues of illegal immigration on the map. And so we are here to support the victims of this crime, but also to say that time is about up.
Okay. You can hear the pain in that voice. 8 women tied up by 60 men. They tied up the men that was protecting them too. That's who's being allowed in by these syndicates. I have seen them personally. at the VFS Home Affairs. Because if you have a foreign friend or family member in this country, you cannot even let them go to the VFS, which is the Foreign Home Affairs, without you being there. I've seen the scams nearly happen in front of my face. In front of my face. I've seen them nearly happen. I don't know if you'll actually hear this audio.
Oh, when if you want to leave that same Monday, we'll make a plan for you. No, if you know you are traveling on Monday, thank you. If you know you are traveling on Monday, then it means that you have to make payments between today and tomorrow, so that the immigration officers and the supervisors there will already know that this person is flying on Monday, and then they wait for you, and then clear you. You go. You are sorted.
It is a whole syndicate. A whole syndicate. The immigration officer, everybody's involved in it, and at the forefront are Nigerians. I've seen it in my personal life. That is your responsibility as a country. Shutting us up isn't going to change that, and the demonizing us as xenophobic is not going to change that. Go clean your home. Go and clean your home. Messing someone else's house up doesn't clean yours. Go and clean your home. Leave. Most importantly, you're going to leave Uncle P alone. Or you know what? Come for him. Come for him because he's South African. The harder you hit, the more we're going to hit back. The more we're going to hit back. Do you know why? Because we are the more shit you give us, we're going to make a road. We are proteas. The more you try and burn us down, the more those seeds will spout and more proteas are going to grow. You have pissed off many countries, but this time you've pissed off the wrong one. You've pissed off the wrong one. You've pissed off a country that knows how to handle a hectic amount of bullshit. You are cutting off your own nose to spite your own face by trying the same shit that worked everywhere else here in a country that does it differently.
Everyone's done. Wait, you missed that. Everyone's done.
Keep throwing it. Keep throwing it. Label us what you will.
We have an illegal immigration problem in our country. They started to label us xenophobic. Today I'm here to advance the notion that says, if xenophobia has a different definition, then we welcome that definition if that means we are patriotic. We are here to fight for our country. We launched last year a campaign called Spaza for Locals. And the people are coming from all over the world who are coming to South Africa because of oppressive regimes in their countries. Please take the example of South Africans and do what we are doing for your country. Yes. The president of Zimbabwe...
Your arguments fall flat, babe. They fall flat. Go and fix your country like we fixed ours. This is not a xenophobic country. We've been voted the friendliest country in the world.
People are considered friendly.
Okay, so now the digital financial service company Remitly has compiled a list of the friendliest countries in the world. The #1 rated country was South Africa.
Yeah. But ultimately, when we look at the South African people, there is a collective harmony that exists. They all will come for you. If you are not South African and you talking about South Africa, that's one thing South Africans will do. They will come for you and they will come for each other when one misspeaks or steps out of line. You don't see that in the US.
Personally, I do not want
anyone to be victimized. Not black, white, Indian, or colored South Africans, not even foreigners in South Africa. I do, however, want the facts to be spoken about freely without anyone feeling like they are being xenophobic, bigots, or anything like that for telling the truth.
And I want to echo what my colleague has said. Being for South Africa is not being against anyone.
And we are saying that we don't have a problem with foreigners coming to our country. However, we want foreigners that qualify.
I think if the foreigners were coming into South Africa legally, that was going to be like a little bit like easier for us. Because
Mackenzie argues that there's nothing wrong with South Africans questioning the legitimacy of her nationality.
She's South African, we will wish her well. But if she's not South African, we can't have her represent us on the world stage.
I'm just saying that we are not anti anyone. It is not an anti-African agenda. It's not an anti-Asian agenda. It's an agenda of saying let's prioritize our people.
That this is not a hate-filled campaign. That is not what's happening. It's not a hate-filled campaign. Simply campaign to say that we are all equal before the law as Africans.
You can come to South Africa without a visa and stay for 3 months, which is amazing because a lot of the other surrounding African countries require a visa and it's like $50 to $100.
Part. The other part that I'm going to deal with is South Africans themselves. We are growing in our reputation as xenophobic, right? Oh, South Africans, you guys are just xenophobic. And it was intense online. You know it. I don't have to tell you. So I was like, I wish there was a platform where we could discuss, is it really xenophobia? Is it really? Because we've lived with conscripted minors in this country from the 30s and the 40s.
South Africans are not xenophobic.
South Africans
I've traveled
are
the
not.
world. I've traveled Africa.
Not xenophobic.
If you have not lived in South Africa, consult any of your friends who have lived here, even for a short period of time. They'll tell you how friendly we are.
So where does it come
How
from?
welcoming we are. How kind we are. How
Yeah, so we were in South Africa for 3 months.
3 months.
And we didn't really see any of that. Like, obviously, it's like a melting pot. There's a lot of people from different African countries all in South Africa, and we didn't see any of that. Now, we know, once again, these things do happen, but it's on the level that people make it out to be. It's like, it couldn't be that heavy and not see it in the amount of time we were there, you know?
And yeah, we didn't roll with different Uber drivers, which most of them are from different African countries, and they've been here for tens of years and explained to us how they love South Africa. Now, we haven't been with everybody and haven't talked to every single African, but just from our experience, it doesn't seem like it's just a huge issue.
Telling me this whole time, we're being told that South Africans are not good and they hate other Africans, and they, when that's actually not true. This illegal migrants, illegal immigrants in their country are literally doing harm.
Where we could discuss, is it really xenophobia? Is it really? Because we've lived with conscripted minors in this country from the 30s and the 40s.
South Africans are not xenophobic.
South Africans
I've traveled
are
the
not.
world. I've traveled Africa.
Not xenophobic.
If you have not lived in South Africa, consult any of your friends who have lived here, even for a short period of time. They'll tell you how friendly we are.
So where does it come
from? How welcoming we are. How kind we are. How
financial service company Remitly has compiled a list of the friendliest countries in the world. The #1 rated country was South Africa.
Yeah.
Are you surprised to hear
I'll
that?
tell you where it comes from. It comes from the fact that in an abusive relationship, the abuser needs to paint the victim as bad to justify what he's doing. That's where the fuck it comes from.
People are.
They had like 5 characteristics, was it?
Yeah, and agreeable is one of them. So they had to answer questions and would show sort of their pro-social behavior, their empathy, you know, their willingness to help people out. So, which is something that you'd want if you were visiting a country.
I didn't realize that there were so many languages that were spoken there. Official languages. I think it's like 9 or 10 official languages that are spoken there. So even if you go there and you don't speak the language, you shouldn't have a problem. There's someone who can help you in some way.
But South Africa has a unique culture.
And when you go to a place like South Africa, which is so different from what we're used to, like, please, like just be open-minded And don't just like, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, just like when in South Africa, just embrace South African culture, just like when in South Africa, just embrace South African culture.
I have vouched for a country that has given me a second chance, that has given my children a home, not because I'm desperate, not because of any other reason, but because respecting somebody's home is human nature.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. I handled it long before you watched this video. Nuance with Nikki, the nitty gritty, even if it's shit. So that person in my comments who told me you are not black, you can't speak on us. First of all, we're adults here. We're adults here. For as long as you are violating people in my country, whatever their color, I will stand up for them. Your lazy childhood, adolescent bullshit around race is not going to silence me. The more offended you are, the louder I will speak, because I am in those taxis. I go to those townships, okay? And I see what's happening there. You will not use race as an excuse to poison our children. You are not the ones in the graveyards burying babies. You are not. You want to tell me what I'm not? You are not the one following and respecting what black South Africans want. You are not going to guilt trip them. You are not. It is not working anymore. You will not silence us. You will not. We do not care any longer. Respect them or back off. Back off, because you're going to have a rainbow nation coming up against you for as long as you violate them. That's what you're going to have. Whether or not you like that, whether or not that works in your little country, whether or not that fits your little stereotype is irrelevant. What is relevant is the dignity of South Africans. That's what's relevant. I am indifferent about what color they are until you use their color against them to try and abuse them. I told you very clearly, when you come and try race with South Africa, you are swimming with the big boys. You better get those arms ready. You better give me a better argument than you are not black. I'm not interested in your idea of my race or what's not my race. I've spoken about it clearly. Your racial illiteracy sounds like a you problem. Keeping South Africans alive is an us problem. We'll be damned if you use adolescent arguments to silence us. Nuance with Nikki, the nitty gritty, even if it's shitty. I look forward to being cancelled. Come for me.